Afternoon and welcome to ChessFrog OmniVersity. This is Marcus Brown. Apologies for missing the last few weeks. A little upset over the election and still reeling from the results. I think there's a general somber mood out there in our community. I have a special guest with me today, Miss Charlisa King. We're going to interview her. She's a resident of Flint who wants to make changes and push things forward, but she has selected a poem for us today. This poem is called Blackbird, and it's by Nina Simone. Put my reading glasses on. Why you want to fly, Blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. No. Ah. And of course, I lose the poem.
Bring the laptop to you.
That might be better. Starting over again. Arr, with the oldest laptop in the world, 2012 Mac. Nina Simone's Blackbird. Why you want to fly, Blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. No place enough for holding all those tears you're gonna cry. 'Cause your mama's name was Lonely and your daddy's name was Pain. And they call you Little Sorrow 'cause you never love again. So why you wanna fly, Blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. You ain't got no one to hold you. You ain't got no one to care. If you'd only understand, dear, nobody wants you anywhere. So why you wanna fly, Blackbird? You ain't ever gonna fly. That poem is interesting. It's kind of inspiring to the negativity we sometimes have to get over. Miss Charlisa King, I'm going to go through some news and then we're going to get to you real quick. Recent news on this November 25th. Kendrick Lamar has finally dropped that album. And I am waiting so I can collect all the records off of it so I can hear the whole thing before I give you a full sound opinion and critique of it. But so far, it's banging. I'm going to let her introduce herself in a minute, as usual. Thank you, producer man. Also in the news, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has offered an official apology for slavery. I'm wondering what that apology going to do. I can't put that in my pocket. It don't help get rid of any bills. It don't change no laws. It don't stop the police from cracking me upside my head. So I'm wondering what this apology letter supposed to do. I'm supposed to present it to the police. Y'all apologize. Stop beating me. Yeah. Also, there's been a fentanyl spike in the African American community. 10 years ago, most of the people that were dying from fentanyl overdoses were from the European American community. Recent years, with the counterfeiting of drugs, you got to remember, Prince thought he was taking Vicodin, but it was actually Vicodin that had been laced. It was counterfeit Vicodin that had been laced with fentanyl. So the man had hip surgery, thought he was taking the Vicodin. He was actually taking fentanyl. And fentanyl is one of those drugs, a couple of drops of it, a couple of grains of it can kill you. Touching this stuff can knock you out and incapacitate you. That's how strong this stuff is.
So don't they use that to tranquilize elephants?
They use it to tranquilize elephants. They still use it on humans also, but you have an anesthesiologist who knows how to mix it, cut it, and make sure you're not getting too much of it at one time. I can't remember the name of the drug that Michael Jackson died from, but this is a similar drug. This is some powerful, potent stuff, and they were shipping it over here directly from China, just like it was an Amazon package.
Oh, wow.
But now they're starting to put restrictions on what's being shipped and starting to check packaging more. But it's kind of weird that we're supposedly there was war on drugs, but as soon as we got into it with Afghanistan and Iraq, heroin had almost been obliterated in the year 2000. As soon as we started attacking Iraq and started paying farmers and started paying the farmers over there so they could be on our team, we started letting the farmers over there grow poppies again. This had been we had sided with this is a weird situation. Back in the 80s, I don't know if you remember Rambo or not,
Yeah.
but Rambo went to Afghanistan to fight a war. And those people that Rambo was fighting with, are the Taliban, and we ramble, and the Taliban beat up the Russians, and then the Taliban came after us. So it's just kind of interesting. But after that, in 2000, after 9/11, after 9/11 in 2001, they started allowing the production and allowing the farmers to start growing poppies again if they cooperated with the U.S. government. So we saw the increase in heroin ODs, and heroin dropped in price dramatically. In 2000, you almost couldn't find the stuff, and then it skyrocketed in price. Now it's pretty much dropped. Same thing with fentanyl. Fentanyl was initially hitting people that were using counterfeit pills, and people had whole operations where they were creating these counterfeit pills, and they could be made out of flour or made out of baking soda, it could be made out of any white substance, and they would just literally put a few drops of fentanyl in there
That's
and sell them.
interesting. I thought well, I saw somewhere that Trump may be trying to bring about the death penalty for drug dealers. So wouldn't that be big if you're now selling fentanyl and heroin?
I look at it like this. It's interesting that all these quote unquote pro lifers are also pro death penalty. I mean, make up your mind. It sounds kind of hypocritical to me. You don't want people killing babies, but it's okay to kill people. I don't know. I'm not going to criticize too hardly.
Yeah, no, they're focused on the wrong things. It's okay to not kill a baby, but it's okay for kids to make a gender choice before their mind is fully developed.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. Just like I'm
Okay.
gonna leave the whole Israel Palestine thing alone. Don't want to get labeled over here as that being anti this or anti that or get canceled, because I don't have a problem with people doing what they want to do with their bodies and their lives and everything else, as long as it doesn't interfere or hurt anyone else. It's all good. But when you start telling me, not only do I have to tolerate, accept, and integrate, but I also have to change my vocabulary and tell my grandson to change his vocabulary. I'm like, I'm not sure about this right now. I'm not. I understand the concern, but we went many a year being called things we didn't want to be called. So maybe time will help us evolve into a more proper African American, Black American. Maybe they can become, I don't know, gender Americans or whatever. But my whole case or thing is with that, if somebody put on blackface, we would be offended.
Yes.
If somebody putting on blackface won the NAACP award for Black Man of the Year or Black Woman of the Year, we would say, hey, that ain't right to just get after somebody because they put on blackface. I look at it like this. There are women that are born women. There are men that are born men. But sometimes we get into a situation where people feel that they are not in the right body. It's possible. It ain't for me to say. I'm not God. I'm not a judge, this, that, or other thing. But my household, where I come from, and my set of beliefs, if you're pretending to be something that you're not, if I'm a cat, there's no way for me to become a cat. And there are people that are out there getting strange surgeries in order to become other things. If I was a woman, I would have been offended.
And this is where you say playing God come in, because it's all an agenda, and for enough money I'm gonna make you believe your delusion too. I ain't nobody, you can't cancel me. And it's sad that people telling us what we can and can't do with our bodies, when in reality they're trying to become us. But I digress.
Well, I'm just looking at it like this. Bruce Jenner was named Woman of the Year when he made his transition. If I was a woman, I would be offended. This man has never menstruated. This man has never been slapped on his bottom. Well, maybe recently, but slapped on his bottom or harassed sexually or denied. This is a white man. He's never been denied the opportunity for a job, for equal pay, for this, that, and other thing. And for him just to jump in and say, I'm a woman now, you have to treat me as a woman. I want to treat you with respect. I think all humans deserve that.
Well, someone also said just because women have periods and carry babies, that don't make them a real woman. So, what makes us a real woman? Matter of fact, what makes you a real man?
I define man not just by my biology, but I define the word man by the way I carry myself and the responsibilities I have. I define a woman the same way. I define gays and lesbians by that same standard of respect, maturity, responsibility, and carrying yourself the right way makes you an adult. Sometimes we say man up or woman up, and what we really mean is we need you to be mature and to take a higher road with something.
What I feel like is a lot of people are confused and they don't want to be put in a box, but they're trying to find the box they fit in.
I think the most important thing any human being can do is establish their own identity. And more power to you if you feel this way or that way, but don't force it
On
on me or down my throat. I opened the door for a woman the other day, and my grandson was with me. And the woman got offended. I can get the door for myself. Now, I don't know this woman, but the way she was dressed, the way she talked, the way she carried herself, reminded me of people who might consider themselves lesbian. But I don't know if she was or wasn't, or she was just offended that a black man opened the door for her or whatever. But what I wound up telling my grandson is this: whenever you see a woman, elderly person, disabled, or a person that might be struggling or you just want to help out, hold the door for them. Pull
yes.
out the chair and do certain things that are polite and represent etiquette. I am not sure what decision he's going to make when he gets older about the pronoun thing, but just call me a Luddite. If you was born a girl, I'm gonna call you she and her, and it's not meant to offend you. But I know people that get offended when you don't use their correct pronoun, and I'm like, we are changing the language here. We are encroaching on thought here. When you try and force people to use certain words, you're brainwashing them and forcing them. You're forcing something down their throat.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away from the community at all as far as what they have accomplished because everybody deserves to be treated equally. But when my kids and when people in my community don't know what it's look like to look on TV and see a family that looks like us, because a lot of stuff is being pushed on us.
I am thoroughly. You just mentioned television. I'm thoroughly enjoying the new Miss Pat show.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, this new season just came out. Miss Pat keeps it real, and I kind of like it. It's not buffoonery, but she's keeping it real as far as how black folks treat each other, how we argue, how we deal with certain issues. I like the show. There's another show with Mike Epps and Kim Fields, used to be Tootie off of Facts of Life
Yes.
and Living Signal. I can't remember the name of the show, but she also has a show, and that's a pretty good show. But the Miss Pat show, whoo, they keep it raw and real. They don't mind cussing and dealing with certain issues like interracial dating and teen pregnancy and whether or not you should donate about what do you call them fathers that ain't around?
Uh Absent fathers.
Those absent fathers. Yes, we'll use that euphemism. All right. One more thing here. In latest news, Richard Roundtree has passed away. James Earl Jones, Fat Man Scoop for the hip hop fans, and Frankie Beverly. It's been a while since we had a show, so I had to drop those names. Yeah, everybody remembers Richard Roundtree as Shaft, king of the, or nah, I ain't gonna say he's a king of black exploitation because you got the Mac out there and you got Superfly too.
I wasn't even born when most of those people were in their primes.
Well, everybody knows James Earl Jones, the voice of CNN. This is CNN, but he's also the voice of Darth Vader.
Oh, I
So
didn't know.
it's one of those things. They hired James Earl Jones to do the voice, but he's got a great collection of movies, and it kind of inspired me. I used to stutter, and I used to have a terrible lisp. James Earl Jones used to have the same thing, and he said he got better by practicing and just reading poetry and practicing talking out loud. He said you should be embarrassed and teased, but it's one of those things you get over. Either you're going to become a better speaker or you're going to become silent.
Yes, you just gotta practice and build the confidence.
Last piece of news. Grant housing. There is a housing grant out there. I've been trying to encourage some leaders here in Flint to create a company where black folks or inner city dwellers could take advantage of this housing grant. There's $10 million being put out there to create low income, elderly housing, etc.
Now, what areas is the $10 million cover?
They want low income housing, they want housing refurbishment, they want to deal with blight.
And blight.
They want to make sure that it's not just low income housing, but they're doing a variety of different types of housing. I was thinking that it would be a spectacular idea if people who want to be involved and want to do things could get together and put together a company, because we always have contractors coming in the city doing all the work for us, but the money goes back out to the suburbs where they live.
Exactly.
I think special points should be given to inner city companies or people that hire inner city people. Have at least 50% of the crew be people that live inside the city or have an inner city address. You see those construction workers on the side of the road with the pickup trucks. You know they don't live in the hood.
I do, and I'm actually ready to invest in some property myself. So I'm definitely gonna look into how you qualify for the $10 million.
Well, they want a
that?
company in place. And I would think that you would need a contractor. You would need somebody that knows about real estate. You would need somebody with some political pull to get things done inside the city of Flint. But I'm thinking it would be easy enough to do to write a. Who says that?
Veterans of Now has all this stuff in place.
Yeah, I might want to apply for this grant and get a few people.
Veterans of Now has all this stuff.
Veterans of Now has all this stuff in place, and they're looking for people to invest, I believe.
Well, Veterans of Now, we need to talk.
You hear that, vets?
I'm thinking that there's a lot of different things you can do. If you look down to Detroit and elsewhere in America, they're using those containers in order to build houses out of. You also have the mini house movement. And then you have them building offices and everything else also out of those containers. So I'm thinking that might be an opportunity for folks inside the city to get involved at a higher level or a different level than being served by the city, but actually providing a service to the city and being involved with the city at a level where they become a contractor and providing resources. All right. We have a very special guest with us today, Charlisa King Kyles. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hey, everybody. I'm Charlisa King Kyles. I am from Flint, Michigan, born and raised in Beecher. But you know what they like to say, Flint Beecher. I came to Flint for my high school years.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
I graduated from Flint Central, and I was a Black Scholar.
Okay. What did you enjoy about Flint Central, or what was cool about it?
I love the diversity. They had a lot of magnet programs, a lot of special programs. For the students.
You were in special programs?
No, I actually
Orange Bus and all?
No, I wasn't in the special ed programs. I guess you could be a Black Scholar or the special.
Every child deserves special education. I don't care if they're gifted or if they're having difficulties. Everyone should have an IEP. Everyone deserves to have their education individualized. Imagine if hospitals treated people like schools did.
Oh,
everybody gets the same medication. Everybody gets, you're this age, we're putting you in this room with these people and we're going to give you the same treatment. It doesn't make any sense the way our educational system is run. This is a child. This is the future of the world. They deserve to have an individualized education plan, not to be herded by age.
I agree.
They need an individualized thing. I've spoken before about education and about some of the magic they were able to work at places like Sankofa Chule and at places like Cass Tech, where they have teachers who actually worked in the field. I had a teacher that worked on the Philadelphia experiment. We had teachers that were actors and actresses and dancers and people that were successful as writers and painters teaching at the school. They might not have had a teaching certificate, but they had proven skills. And what we did at Sankofa Chule was we individualized every child's education, meaning that if you came into our school, first thing we did was evaluate you, find out where you were in math, find out where you were in reading. There are kindergartners that can read that don't need to go through the ABCs again and start hating school. That's what makes kids hate school is when they get bored. You have gifted kids sometimes who get in trouble because they're bored.
Maybe that's what's wrong with my son. I'm trying to figure out what's the problem because he having a difficult time.
Well, I talked to a parent the other day, and I'm not going to drop her name, but her child apparently has some of the symptoms of either Asperger's or ADHD. He's not communicative. He does things. He gets kind of not violent, but gets very upset, throwing, hitting stuff, leaving the house in the middle of the night because he gets up and likes to wander. My kids did that, and they weren't as severe, but when you're a parent, sometimes you turn your back and bam, that kid's off and gone.
Gone, yes.
But anyway, what I was telling her, because my experiences are based in Lansing. I'm originally from Detroit, but my experiences with raising family and dealing with schools is based in Lansing. And there, my son was put into a program because he was communicative.
Okay.
And they did that before he was 5 years old. Here in this county, for some reason, they're telling this woman that they'll get him when he starts school. This kid is 2 or 3 years old. They should be programming right now that's getting him on track and preparing him for school instead of waiting for him to hit kindergarten.
There are programs. Have she looked into derogatory mod or?
Well, I told her to talk to the Genesee County Intermediate School District. That's who's going to be responsible for doing the testing. And I told her if she has to talk to her doctor, her family doctor, and have that doctor make a recommendation that he get tested or something along those lines. But right now, it's kind of scary if those services aren't being provided or being denied to kids for whatever reason.
They make them very difficult for kids to get because I have faced it trying to get IEPs for my brothers that I have custody of, and they get lost in the system.
You have to be very proactive and aggressive because the school district will try and tell, oh, you don't need an IEP for this child. We'll just write up a 504 plan. If he gets out of hand, we'll call you every time he gets out of hand and have you come up and pick him up.
Yeah, and that is not
that doesn't work for people that work.
No, it don't. I can't come up here every time you call.
So there needs to be something better put in place, or they need to stop blocking people with this. 504 is a great thing if your child doesn't have any major issues or if there's a temporary thing going on. IEP is the right of every child. Right now, before they get rid of the Department of Education, according to the plan Project 2025, you are guaranteed a free and appropriate public education. FAPE. Those four words, free and appropriate public education. Now, recent court cases have said that don't necessarily mean your child going to learn how to read, because somebody tried to sue the Highland Park School District because they were passing these children and they weren't learning how to read.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of issues in education right now. I think the whole thing needs to be restructured, and it's something that we definitely need to talk about. And I also want to remind the parents out there, remember I said in September, your child started with an A. You should have made contact with your teachers already. There should have already been a progress report or report card, and you should need to be staying on top of your children as far as what they're doing academically. As far as what's being provided, I think we definitely need to get more technology in there. We are probably 10 years behind the technology curve, because if you compare an inner city school to a suburban school, they don't have gaps in the internet. They have computers for every child. They have kids working on.
They have computers. Didn't they just do a computer giveaway?
They did one during COVID, and then they took the computers back. But the stuff they're doing on the computers, they're actually doing lessons. What we need to be teaching kids, though, is how to program, how to think outside the box, how to develop iPhone programs, how to put together computers, or how to engineer this stuff. it's one thing if a kid's is playing video games all the time. They're not learning how. They're learning to use it, but they're not learning how to build it. They're not learning how to program. They're not learning how to create. So we need to get on that other side of that, and we need to start pushing education. I'd rather them drop language arts and English and start teaching computer language as a foreign language than what they're doing right now.
That's interesting.
Miss King Kyles.
Yes.
What neighborhood did you grow up in? Or what neighborhood were you in?
Like I said, I grew up in Beecher.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was raised over by DuPont and Welch area.
Okay. Over near the hood.
Yeah.
Dayton and whatnot.
I'm
Dayton
from
boys,
the
Pearson
hood.
Hood Posse and such.
From the hood, don't forget where you come from.
What was the cool thing to do when you were a teenager? Were you a mall kid? Were you a video gamer? Did you go to laser tag? Or what was the cool thing to do for you?
The cool thing to do, I had a boyfriend at the time. I liked my boyfriend. I was just
he was
chilling.
Your world.
Yeah, he was my world. And then I worked. I played sports. I was a triathlete. I was not the best, but I needed to get out the house from with my mama.
Did you fight Shields?
No, I wouldn't ever fight Shields. I love you, Clarissa the Quote Shields. I'm going to give you your props and flowers every time, because why are they not doing it? But yes, I swim. I joined the swim team not knowing how to swim, and I was the only black girl on the team. I played basketball, volleyball.
They weren't trying to drown you?
No, I was competing. They taught me how to swim.
Hold on, a black woman willing to get her hair wet?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to step outside the stereotypes.
Well, I still get my hair wet. If it ain't raining, it ain't training, huh? I don't care. Walk outside while it's raining. Hair freshly done. What the rain gonna do?
I was a swimmer in high school also, and recently I'm trying to get my health back together by swimming at the YMCA every day.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to get back involved in swimming because I'm still a little scared sometimes of the water.
Well, you got tons of chlorine in this stuff because it turned my hair your color. How mother friendly Out of the Mud is. You want us to mention how friendly it is? Yes, we have a Flint mother here on Out of the Mud Productions, ChessFrog OmniVersity, and we appreciate you, Mr. Grundy and Mr. Mayfield, for providing this opportunity for people to...
Shout out to Out of the Mud Inc., man. They are putting on for the city of Flint. They are giving everybody a platform to showcase their talents and thoughts and conversations. And I'm here with my kids. So who gonna let you come in a studio with a newborn baby and toddlers and put on for the city? Ain't nothing stopping this show. Ain't no excuse for not getting no money. Kids and all. What Cash Doll just do? She said, put the kid in the car and jump out and start singing her rap song. Yes, you gotta be business and yourself.
Okay. As far as your history here in Flint, what were the major events to occur in Flint? Was there still a good job market here, or what was going on in Flint when you were younger?
Oh, wow. When I was younger, I was actually affected by a lot of the current events. The school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Buell Elementary.
Oh, really?
I did attend Buell Elementary when that happened.
What year was that?
I was in the 4th grade. Jeez.
I'm not from Flint, so I don't know about what year.
About
90s, 2000s?
Yeah, it was the 90s. Probably about 97.
You want to say hello real quick? And then you can...
Oh, my baby woke up and my son came to tell. But yeah, so the Buell thing, GM closing down, a lot of people getting bought out their contracts and losing their jobs. I've seen it go down, but I definitely see the revitalization.
What do you think should be happening right now? I'm going to ask you about the future later. But right now, what things should be put in place, in your opinion, to make Flint better?
What things should be? We need to bring more stuff for the kids. There's not Chuck E. Cheese is gone.
Yeah.
What, they
The
got
little place over there on Miller that was a swim place or whatever, they just demoed that.
Nobody want to bring money to the hood. Our kids need somewhere to play too, y'all.
Well, we're going to see if we can fix that in the near future. I have a dream that maybe one day Flint could host an Olympics.
Oh, yes.
Maybe 12 years from now, we start prepping and we have all the infrastructure. Oh, we have another special guest here.
Okay, baby,
Another special
just
guest
came
coming in.
in. Let's see.
But
He's
what
smiling, y'all.
are you going to stay in Flint?
I plan on staying in Flint and maybe getting me a vacation home out the city later on down the line. I actually caught a really great deal and purchased a home in the Mott Community College area.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I'm sitting on a nice amount of equity. So I'm trying to make some big movements.
So you know about family wealth?
No.
You don't know about
teaching my family
right.
wealth. Yes, I do know about teaching my family wealth, and I'm trying to start young. I'm trying to start with them young. I want to put things in place for my kids. I want to learn how to start them accounts, brokerage accounts.
I was going to talk about that. You've heard of Robinhood. Robinhood is just one name, but there are a lot of penny stock companies out there. And I was thinking this year it would be a great year if parents just took $20 and set it towards a Robinhood account for your child. And your child can make their own investments with that $20 and buying penny stocks. I buy stocks that I'm familiar with, or I'm familiar with the company.
Yes.
I own stock in Dollar Tree. I own stock in Five Below. I own stock in companies that I respect and I like, or companies that I actually go to, whether that be Buffalo Wild Wings or other companies. I'm not trying to say you should follow my portfolio, but if you know a company is doing well, whether it be an automotive company or a computer company, or if you like their product and you know they're going to be around a while, that might be the company you want to invest in. You don't have to have gone to business school in order to make investments. You just have to be able to watch the market and see what's about to happen. You know that if bacon goes up in price, people gonna buy some bacon. People gonna buy some eggs. Price of eggs is shot up. Hey, how you doing there, Shorty? You are so attentive and a good baby too.
Definitely, you want to also invest in the companies that you know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to buy the whole stock at full price. There are different ways. It's just learning.
Yeah, Robinhood account. I mean, you start off with $20 and you tell your kids to invest, and they learn about investment, about ups and downs and trends, and hold the long road. There are certain things that our kids should be being exposed to, whether it be the stock market, whether it be playing chess, whether it be playing musical instruments. There are a lot of things that I think our schools could be doing more of or aggressively pursuing.
I love chess. I'm not that great of a player, but I learned in 5th grade. I took a chess class.
Mm-hmm.
I only know the Sicilian defense. I play it every time.
Well, I'm into developing critical thinking and creative thinking. So
yes,
chess is one of those games that will do that. Music is one of those things that will develop you creatively, critically, mathematically. Because all music is counting, just like dancing. A lot of people say, I don't like math, I don't like math, but they dance. I don't like math, I don't like math, but they know how to hustle and make money and keep account of their money.
So when I be dancing, I be a little offbeat. How you think I got selected to play an instrument? That's why I gave up a little bit. Like, nah, man, I can't keep up with the notes on the paper.
Believe it or not, they had me singing in a choir when I was a teenager, of all things.
I was in the choir too.
Well, I couldn't sing. I hopped on a bus, went to New York, didn't tell my parents, went on a tour with this group, and came back. And nobody missed me.
Said nobody missed you.
Oh, we thought you was over your cousin's house. I'm like, all right. Glad I didn't become one of the Atlanta child kids.
Man, make sure y'all like, subscribe this page, and you can also find Out the Mud on YouTube. And share the video.
If you have any comments or questions, or you want to chime in, 248-820-5053, or you can hit us up on Facebook directly. In the coming weeks, we have Thanksgiving coming up. We have that grant expiration date on December 16th. If you type in housing grant under Google, Flint, it'll pop up. The first part of it talks about getting your roof fixed, but the second part of that grant, $10 million, is being allocated to create housing, to deal with blight, and to make sure that the elderly, veterans, and the homeless are finding some low-income places to be, along with creating other places. I have a fear that if we let others design these places, they're going to wind up looking like the projects, or there'll be an overcrowding of people in an area with a lack of resources. And sometimes that's the biggest problem right there of living in the city, is that you're living on top of each other.
That's what they're trying to do, make us live on top of each other. That's why there's a housing shortage. That's why they're tearing down the houses and building apartments.
Dirty thing that I found out.
15 cities.
They actually get paid more. The land bank gets paid more to tear down a house
Than to sell it.
And I ran into that. I tried to buy a house next door to me, and the land bank wouldn't sell it to me until after they tore down the house. I had a plan for fixing it. The house wasn't in terrible shape. It was still fixable. It had a decent roof. The first thing I look at is the roof. Windows can be fixed. Water heaters can be replaced. Furnaces can be replaced. Yeah, I think my biggest fear with dealing with a house is the roof.
And foundation.
Foundations can be fixed even. So
just the right contractors.
If you know what you're doing, if you know you can handle it or grip with it, that's probably half the battle, is knowing the people who know how to do it, whether it be plumbers or electricians or whatever. Now, we all know jack legs, but sometimes if this is your house, you probably don't want a jack leg. Or when I say jack leg, I mean informal person who hasn't been formally trained, working on your stuff. There are certain repairs I will let somebody from the street do, and there are certain repairs I'm going to a professional for. If I know my wife's car and she going out of town all the time, I want a professional working on that car so she's not stuck on the side of the road.
Veterans Now has insured and licensed contractors on his team.
What? Veterans of Now has insurance and licensed contractors?
I think Veterans of Now and I need to sit down and talk about this grant that's out there, and maybe find a couple of other like-minded people to see if we can get the ball rolling. Because we're like right now, we got less than a month to try and form a company that will act on the best interests of inner city dwellers. A company of inner city dwellers. Say what?
Veterans of Now has the capacity to do all that.
Right. We need to hype Veterans Now. We need to do a show on Veterans Now next week.
Yeah,
and
we
talk
need
about all
to
the
bring
resources.
Veterans of Now online and say what they're trying. Who is Veterans of Now? Because the veterans that you see are not the veterans that I know. I am a veteran of now.
I'm a veteran of yesteryear. I'm dying.
I'm a veteran.
I'm a Civil War veteran.
I think I was one of the youngest people in my unit.
Okay. What rank did you achieve?
E4.
E4? I appreciate your service, ma'am.
Thank you.
And you were a mechanic also.
Yes, I was a generator mechanic. I was the only female mechanic.
Do you know how to install
Black
generators?
female mechanic. On houses?
Yes.
I have never did it, but give me a book and a YouTube video, I can figure out anything. If I could take it apart, I could put it back together. I just fixed my car.
It's the wave of the world. YouTube is a dangerous thing. If you're looking for other educational places, Khan Academy on YouTube will teach your kid. If you kids doing the new math and you don't understand what they're doing because they don't follow the same algorithms that they used to. I was about to say learned. I was taught how to divide a certain way. The way they want kids dividing now, they don't have the divisor and dividend and quotient like it used to be. They have some other type of system going in place, and it looks Greek to me, so to speak.
Yeah, they're really complicating it for the kids. So how are you going to complicate it for the kids And then a lot of the parents are behind and
Or
not
don't.
up to date.
I'm a school teacher and don't understand the new math. So that's just to give you a hint.
That lets you know how.
So they're I would say Khan Academy. You can find it KHAN Academy. Has a lot of educational stuff at different levels and multiple stuff.
And Flint Public Library, I'm learning because I'm trying to get my son caught up on reading, and I found a lot of resources on there. They host events for the kids, different age kids, teen writing workshops. There's so many resources out here, and we just have to utilize them.
I found when I was teaching, it was very easy to get girls to read. And there was a lot of material out there for girls, Judy Bloom and a lot of other stuff. Girls will read, but I found that my boys in my classes, they would pretend to read, be drawing behind the book or drawing in the book. But I found that if I brought a whole shipment, I literally went to the comic book store and said, just give me all your old raggedy comic books. They gave me a big box, and I got kids to read. I had to start bringing in like Sports Illustrated, comic books, Guinness Book of World Records,
Baby J
and
on the
gross out
mic,
books.
y'all.
This man gonna be a television personality one day. Hope we ain't violating laws by having him on camera too long.
I'm his mama. Look, I'm doing like the celebrities. They can't see his face. He all over my Facebook though, so it don't matter.
Okay. Well, Miss King Kyles, what do you see happening in the next 20 years here in Flint? Or what would you like to see happen in the next 20 years in Flint? What would you like to see come, or what would you like to see change?
I definitely would like to see more businesses come to the city of Flint. And
I heard we're getting a Mr. Lee's, what is it, Lee's Famous Chicken?
Oh, I didn't know nothing.
I think they're building one over there on Miller.
No, stop going to the outskirts. I said the city of Flint, the inner city.
That's on the edge.
Hold on. The main restaurants we have on Saginaw Street. We got Halo Burger and Rallies.
You got people scared to come inside the city because, yeah, that's their fault. But
it is money to be made.
A restaurant it's all about location, location, location. Downtown's a good location because people have to come here and they feel safe because the police department's right there. Now, they just got rid of my Happy's Pizza. They just got rid of my Burger King because I'm on the north side.
Oh,
they took away the Happy's Pizza. They took away the Burger King. And we are getting short of different resources over there.
Would it irritate you very much, Mr. Brown, if I got on here? Because you talking about Flint real deeply, and I get a little emotional.
You get emotional. Flint is your mother, your matriarch.
No, I'm a Flint nationalist. So
this is your motherland, or is it your fatherland?
This is where I was born and raised.
Your motherland.
Whatever was before that, and the ancestry that I have that is in my bloodline, I can't control that. But I can control that I was born. I couldn't control I was born here. But what I can control is while I am here, I'm standing on all four.
Okay.
Squares with it. So going to what you were saying about what Ms. King Kyles was saying about having businesses in the Flint community.
Mm-hmm.
That is very, very important because gentrification is happening right now. We're watching it happen.
Right.
And because of that, we need to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to be our business attributes that we put and our money that we put in the Flint community to be pushed to the side, and other people from other countries, continents, and cultures taking over something that created the middle class of America, which is Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan is where the seed was planted, and then it blossomed into the whole nation having a standard and a unionized thought process and so on and such. Now, did other places get larger and do it bigger? Yeah. But it started here when black folks was like, look, I make the same amount of money you make, so I want to live where I want to live.
Yes.
Flint was the place where the redlining was kicked in the face. It happened here. So, and then it went abroad. So those things right
I'm
there,
thinking about the Love case in Detroit,
which was after what happened in Flint.
Okay. There was
So
a case here in Flint then.
No, it was a protest, and the Flint protested it at City Hall. There was a sit down, a lay down. We sleeping here until we get change.
Would you do you?
And you gotta get
I'm
close.
totally alien.
You gotta get closer.
I got to know the history.
I'm telling you. I
Do you know what
understand
years
you.
these were?
I know you're alien to it, but move closer to the mic, man. You don't get.
I thought this was one of them Prince mics could hear you across the room.
Hey, look. Well, when we get the Prince money, we'll get the Prince mic. So yeah, but these mics are great. So what I do appreciate is Miss King Kyle's being able to come on and feeling comfortable enough to bring her children here and speaking her voice as a mother and as a veteran and as a Black woman in Flint that is doing progressive things, you know, not just in opening her mouth and saying stuff, but this woman, she's a stepper. She, you know, what do you do? You're an accountant, right?
Yes, I'm an accountant.
Oh,
I
really?
work at Tax Savvy on Flushing and Ballinger. We will be opening up at the end of the year, but I do taxes.
Wait a minute. So if I get my W-2s, I need to come see you where?
At Tax Savvy on Flushing and Ballinger. We're 2 buildings over from Little Caesars.
Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, the big blue
next
building.
to the African people that do the hair.
Yep, that's us. We've been there since 2018.
Wakanda forever. All right.
Yes. And it's a Black-owned business.
What would you recommend to people right now as they get ready for this next tax season? Are there any recommendations you would make or things that you see people consistently make errors with?
Make sure you have all your ducks in a row now. Now is the time to get your Social Security cards. Now is the time to get all your documents for your kids. The W-2s don't usually come out till the end of January.
Right.
They have
but you can base it on your last check, right?
That's not really legal. Some places you can base it on your last check stuff.
You can get an estimate from that, but you need your W-2s.
Yes, you can get an estimate with your last
paycheck of the year.
Yes.
All
from all jobs. Don't just show up with a check stub from one job.
Yeah, you want to get all your money back. You need to make sure you know your Social Security number and all your dependent Social Security number.
And have their cards.
That would be helpful. But how do people deal with today? We have a different shape of family. When it comes to who gets to claim the children, if the parents are living in separate households, who gets to claim those kids on the taxes?
Whoever provides 70% of the care.
70% of the care.
Yes.
So it's not just going to dad's house on a Friday or the weekend or once a month.
Nope.
And dad gets to use the write-off.
Nope. 7 months out the year. Whoever provides the most care, 7 months out the year. If one person, if it's like equal, then it generally should be in place where they will rotate every year.
Trade off. It's not for the IRS to decide 50%. It's for them to say, I got it in 24, you can have it in 25.
Right. And the courts can put that in place, but people don't do that. You know, usually the mother is the primary parent and they're filing the kids.
Right.
In our city, you know, in the
technical difficulties behind the set. We're off. Mic check 1. We got feed. Not sure if we are still live or if we're still on the air, but if we are, we appreciate people's patience.
Thank you for tuning in.
Right. Miss Charlisa King Kyles, you are an accounting expert. You have a background in engineering. You do your own car repairs.
I do everything.
Where were you when I was looking for a woman?
Shoot. In Afghanistan.
Oh, you know how to shoot a gun too.
Yeah, shoot a gun, take it apart, put it together, clean it. What you need me to do?
It's gonna be some brothers scared to deal with you.
I done like a
you
year
one of them
ago.
INDEP. You know how to spell it.
Yeah, my granny. Shout out to my granny. She told me I could not sing that song until I had my own stuff. Now I got all my own, granny. Done had it for a long time.
Well, I'm impressed by you, ma'am. I think you have a very interesting presence, and I think that you potentially could run your own show. Hopefully, some people to chime in and give you some encouragement. Just giving parenting tips to people, because it seems like you have a good grasp of your children. Also, I've seen people with their kids just running around, tearing up stuff, eating boogers and whatnot, ripping and running. And she actually has 2 kids here, and you barely hear them. So she know what she's doing.
Shout out to the breastfeeding mothers. Keep going. I'm on the live air breastfeeding.
The new America.
It is not easy.
The thoughts and opinions and views are not about out of the mud.
I really don't care because my baby hungry.
You know what? America needs to take a big grow up pill. I don't know what's going on right now, but we got people that saying wild stuff like grabbing by the whatever. We got all these people dealing with sex trafficking, and we got all these scandals going on. And I appreciate sex just as much as the next man or woman, but the fixation that people are having with it, getting caught up in these scandals and whatnot, I'm just like, there's some wild folks out there that I haven't run into.
So I don't want to. I'm sorry, George.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to take nobody's sides on that, but those scandals been going on. So well, why is only P. Diddy going? You know what you think was happening at the Playboy Mansion? You don't think they had tunnels and stuff? You don't think they had drugs? And those girls were young. And
you make a very good point there.
Oh, come on now.
Very good point.
So my question is different from what y'all talking about right now. So Miss Charlisa King Kyles, has Out of the Mud made you comfortable here, to made you feel like you were welcome and wanted, and we want you to create content, and we want you to be a part of the movement that we have going on here in Flint?
Out of the Mud has made me feel very welcome, man. Kudos to y'all. I love what you're doing, and I'm a behind it 100%. I'm trying to push it. I'm telling everybody I'm showing up. I'm just showing up.
We're going to get you a show. We're going to get you a show of your own where you can spend a half an hour telling people your opinions and giving them advice, because there's a lot of little sisters out there and brothers that need to hear from a knowledgeable sister. They're and you know what?
And that's funny.
We're not going to even make you grow a beard.
That's funny. So my friend, she told me, I started writing some books a couple years ago and lost my way. Mm-hmm. But one of them was titled "Stop Being a Sister and Start Being a Mother." Mm-hmm. Don't steal my title. And then I ain't gonna tell y'all my biography title.
So mine's I was raised on powdered milk. But I do think that there is some dysfunction in the Black families right now, or a percentage of them, where parents are trying to be friends with their kids, like you described, as opposed to being parent. There was a scene in the movie Fences where Denzel tells his son, I ain't gotta like you. I'm supposed to love you. I'm supposed to put a house over your head, supposed to raise you the right way. They don't say nothing about me liking you. Amen. And the way he said it, and you know the way that he really meant it. Like and friendship have little to do truly with being a good parent. The main priority of a parent is to make sure that their children learn and develop skills that will help them survive and help the next generation after that survive. That's what a good parent is supposed to do. They're not supposed to just cater to your every whim and bend over backwards because a child is difficult. They're supposed to be, I am the law. I am the last word in this house. You're gonna do what I say. And I know some people don't hold that. No, children should have opinions, just that other thing. You run your house your way.
And I run mine.
Right. And there are certain rules in different houses. Some houses allow the kids to cuss.
Yes.
Some houses are like, nope, we going to church every Sunday. And no matter how you do it, as long as you're there and you do the discipline with love, you do the teaching and the mentoring with love. Even when you are angry at that child, you still express love.
Yes, we have to be intentional with our children
Well,
and train them up in the way they should go.
mm-hmm. I believe in corporal punishment. And I know a lot of people like, no, you're not supposed to ever hit a kid. When my children were 1 and 2 years old and did not understand electricity, if I caught that boy or that girl messing with an electrical socket, quick smack to the back of the hand. My thought and what my wife and I discussed, because this is a discussion that should be held between both parents so they can both be on the same page. We're not going to spank our kids after the age of 7. If we haven't done a good enough job or put the fear of God in them by then, then we messed up pretty bad. But after the age of 7, it was about punishments and getting the right punishment for the right offense and being direct with kids. It's not about being friendly and buddy and whatnot. I mean, you can take them on vacation, take them to this fun place, take them to McDonald's, but don't be catering to them all the time.
Exactly. I'm learning that. The army ain't teach me nothing about how to be a mama. I carried around the gun for 10 years. Now I'm carrying a baby everywhere. It's different.
There's a picture of Sade. No, not the picture of Sade carrying an AK, but there's another picture of an African woman carrying a baby and also carrying an AK-47 strapped to her back. And it's a beautiful silhouette. I'm going to get a T-shirt and wear it the next time. But Miss King Kyles, I've appreciated you being here today. I appreciate Out of the Mud for having us and allowing us to speak. I encourage others out there. Are we back on? Okay. I encourage others out there to figure out what you want to say. Express yourself. A closed mouth don't get fed.
Amen. And I have allowed people to shut me up for so long. I'm tired of being quiet.
What? Huh? What?
I've allowed for people to shut me up for so long. I'm tired of being quiet. I got a lot to say and a lot to teach. And if I never taught you nothing, that means you probably wasn't asking the right questions.
So if you were to have your own show, what kind of subjects would you speak on?
Oh my gosh.
Just give us a list of like 3 or 4 things you would want to touch on that would be specific to what you want to talk about.
I would want to talk about women, breastfeeding. You know, people think it's just easy. No, you're actually the food 24 hours a day. So that's very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to talk about the army stuff and the benefits of men versus women. I would want to talk about the abortion laws. I was affected by the abortion laws, and I actually lost a set of twins when those laws went into effect.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yes, thank you.
My condolences.
And I lost them separately, and I had some choices to make, and those laws definitely affected me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. I encourage you. I support you. If you need my support or help directly, I will help you design your show. Whether you want to focus, whether you want to take a diverse focus, women's issues, urban issues, parenting issues. I'm thinking that there's a lot of great things out there. You also have skills in accounting, and we definitely need to start talking about Black family wealth, how to develop it, how to maintain it. A lot of money comes in our community and goes right out. Yes. They say the Chinese hold on to their money for at least a month. They say Latinos hold on to it for at least 2 weeks. They say Black folks hold on to it for a few hours
and before
they give it right back to the man. They don't give it to their brother, their cousin, or somebody else in the community. They give it to somebody outside the community.
Exactly. I definitely want to educate and help. No, don't leave nobody behind. I want to bring, but everybody can't come.
Well, you carry a great energy, and I see your success happening.
And thank you for having me.
Well, Thank you for joining us last minute. What's the name of little fella here?
This Baby Jewel.
Baby Jewel. And starring Baby Jewel. ChessFrog OmniVersity in the place to be. We're going to leave today with a poem by the artist known as Prince Rogers Nelson. The name of this poem is called The Moors in Spain, and it was written, but he never did get a chance to put lyrics to it. But it shows you that Prince was starting to change direction with some of his beliefs and some of his styles. The Moors in Spain.
Well, hold up. You said it was written, but it didn't have any lyrics to it.
I'm sorry, didn't have any music to it.
I'm like, how in the world did you write something without lyrics?
Diddy.
But that's that
melody. How do you write that down?
Right, I get it now. So I was just wondering, how did he write something without lyrics? That that sounds like Prince.
I misspoke.
Sounds like Prince writing something with no lyrics.
For the first time, I misspoke ever in my life.
It was all frequency.
Frequency.
Frequent.
All right, Moors in Spain. If this great African culture were alive today, we'd be 400 years more advanced. From Arabia, they came to blossom in Spain, and to beat of the drum they dance. Masters of art and all industry. While France, England, and all Germany wallowed in the mire of their own bigotry, the Moors were the ones who were truly free. Civilization came to Europe through Greek, who were simply Africans who came from the Nile. The Greeks gave it to the Romans, who lost their way home, and it stayed that way for quite a while. Under their own misconception of Christianity, the barbaric Europeans suffered greatly, while the Catholic Church was staking its claim. The Moors were making great gains, introducing strawberries, lemons, and sugarcane, algebra, chemistry. From the Moors, this all came. Their contributions to knowledge, too numerous to name. While in Europe, there were no public libraries. The Moors in Spain had 70, 60,000 manuscripts, and 17 universities. Not hardly a prisoner in the mind of society, in the Spain, the Moors were once truly free. The one who is most gifted cannot lead the way in a world that never respected authority. The sword of the Moor would have never left its sheath if the long-haired barbarians who opposed them would have only seen that to win a war against a so-called black infidel brings about a peace that cannot last. But I guess all's well that ends well. Well, it ain't over.
It ain't over.
It ain't over.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This video will also be on YouTube, and the link will be posted.
You might have to partner with me again next week so we can beat up on George a little bit. Thanks again, people. Same bad time, same bad channel next week. Have a great holiday. Don't spend too much money on Black Friday.
Happy Thanksgiving.